Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So what do we have? We have our engine. This is the engine. It is finished minus an intake. We don't have a ton of room. The manifold that this came with is quite a low sitting one. That has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages, and one of them is the clearance between the V-mount and the actual intake. So what we're going to put in there is a H-case mushroom. It's going to be 4-inch because that intake pipe on the actual turbo is massive, so we need to use a 4-inch intake, and it will fit beautifully in there, absolutely beautifully. It's going to look really, really nice. So that's inbound, not required initially, especially in this environment. We're not going to need that right now to get it going and get it running. So let's talk about what has been done, because as you can see, she's finished. And geez, where do I even begin here? Okay, fuel. Let's talk about fuel. That's always a good place to start. So we have the Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. As you can see, I've got my Allen wrench in there. That needs adjusting, but we can't adjust that until we actually get the engine up and running and vacuum disconnected, so we can actually get true reading. These injectors, we do need 43.5 psi according to the computer gurus, Adaptronic. And what do we have else here? We also have AN10 braided line. That is for the oil filter relocation, and anybody with an FD knows just how much of an evil job it is to change that. And then add into the fact that I've got this guy here getting in the way, it is a tight job. So part of this build was always going to be an oil filter relocation, which it is sat over there right now. So a few other things in here. What do we have? So this is the down here we have the fuel return line. So I did the fueling on this a little bit differently. What I actually did was I had the fuel supply come in, and then it feeds into the secondaries back off there onto my fuel rail, and then from the secondaries it comes via this line here back into the primaries, then through the primaries it actually goes back into this line here and then returns. So what I'm actually doing is I'm actually doing it the opposite way around. I'm actually supplying fuel to the secondaries first and then back through the primaries and then back to the return. There is some really good data out there for that. I really do like the idea that the most important injectors are the ones that are getting the initial supply as well. It doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, if you set this guy up right and everything's running right, the change and the difference is minuscule, but again, in my mind's eye, I really do like the idea of fuel being supplied to the secondaries first. So other things, as you can see, we've got the intercooler piping in beautifully. Clearance between the actual pulleys is fantastic. It is solid as a rock. And what else can we talk about? So moving on, catch can. So I've got this in here right now. The reason it's up here is because this entire engine is quite packed. The actual keg, the actual rotary engine is tiny. It's this tiny little thing that's about the size of 2 shoe boxes. But by the time you bolt all the other stuff to it, it becomes this massive mess of engine. So my problem was that I wanted, as you saw in a previous video, I wanted this guy here. I wanted my fuel pressure regulator. I made a bracket up and we actually bolted it to what they call a UIM, so that's the upper intake manifold. And I had it on a bracket there. But it interfered, and I don't think you'll be able to see it because of the lighting and the colour of it. But this is actually the secondary fuel rail right here, and it interfered with all this stuff, so I had to move it. So that's where the catch can was, and so that went in there. I wanted the catch can then over there, but with the oil filter relocation, that's where that had to sit, which meant it couldn't sit there. So then I'm like looking around, like thinking, well, where can we put it? I was going to put it up here, but I didn't like the idea of, you know, catch can oil things being right next to this heat source here. And so in the end, I ended up mounting it up here, and I think it does actually, in the overall scheme of things, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good. So I made an anodized bracket up, mounted it to the front bolt that secures the tensioner for the alternator belt, and it looks awesome. Really, really happy with that. So lines running down here. They go underneath there, they go up to the mount for the actual oil filter. Brings me onto this guy up here. So that's the MAC valve that's going to control the wastegate. I've used something completely different for my vacuum system. Very easy to maintain, very rigid. I've actually used 1/4" push fit for everything. So we've got my vacuum line manifold, which is this guy here. That goes off to the Adaptronic. One of them goes off to the factory map sensor. The reason I had to keep the factory map sensor is on the 99s we actually have on our instrument cluster in there a boost gauge, and I didn't want to lose any functionality of any of my instrument cluster, so I plumbed it in. It's not actually doing anything really other than giving a reading directly to that, but before that's what used to connect to the ECU as well and give information on boost and stuff like that. So moving on, what I actually did with my UIM, I actually took the nipple off, I drilled it out, and I actually threaded it, and then put a 90-degree 1/4" push fit adapter onto there. Again, very easy to maintain, lots of blanks as well, of course, in this build. Yeah, that's all in. Comes right up to the front of the turbo, so we've actually got one on here, and then that goes to the T and actually goes off to the lower part of the, which you can't see down there, the external wastegate. There's a T just here, and then that comes up to the MAC valve, and then the other side of the MAC valve goes to the top part of the wastegate. What else can we talk about in here? I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, overall, guys, like, really, this is just a single turbo conversion. The engine was running great, had good compression. The bulk of this build has been about getting this turbo into this car. There's been some custom fabrication. I actually built my own exhaust, apart from, of course, the very back there of the car. We've got the REM muffler, the dolphin tip muffler. But that brings me into this guy. So this is the front mount intercooler. I've been working on this, I don't even know how many hours, getting everything in here perfect. So right now, I mean, she's solid as a rock. We've got pickup points here. One back there and one on the other side. The one on the other side, on this side, actually also helps to support the relay box. So this initially was underneath here. Now, with this kit and this actual, shielding for the V-mount system, you could actually keep it in place and not have it there, which would be a really clean look. The problem is that if you need to get to any of these guys, you're going to have to then unscrew the bumper, take that plate out, get access to it, and then change relays and fuses and things like that. And I just wanted something that was nice and easy to work on, but also clean. So I deliberately moved it over there, which means extending the harness. But if you're not happy moving the harness, or if you want one less point of failure, you absolutely can leave it there. The kit will work with it there. One of the issues we've actually had, the whole build, the issues that we've had has been blocking off this area here. So I've actually made up plates that go in here that go right up to the intercooler to block it off, so as air goes in there it has nowhere to go but either through the radiator or through the intercooler. But this car, as you know, did have some damage to the front slam panel, so every car is going to be varied from there on in, and it makes it very, very difficult to gauge FD to FD it's going to fit. So when you buy these kits, what I'm actually doing is leaving about 1 inch of extra material on the actual kit that goes in there to make sure that you can actually trim it down to make it fit. And I think that pretty much would be the only thing that you would have to do that would be any kind of like custom fabrication to actually get this kit in. But I didn't want to take the chance of cutting it perfectly for these and then you get it and it not butt up against it, because then you may as well not install them at all. So also getting in shot here, the vinyl. Now this vinyl, my goodness, look at it. It is just beyond beautiful. It is absolutely stunning vinyl, and because of this and because of what it is and how it works and how it installs, I'm really going to do a video on this on its own. The vinyl 3M is just absolutely incredible. The pearl in it is just stunning and absolutely warrants its own video. So we're going to come to that. There is, as you can see, this is all going to be vinyl in here. Along that edge is going to be vinyl, and we're going to make it stupidly beautiful. It's going to look just like it was painted. But there is a few things, like I've got a side skirt down here, the side skirts, I've got some bits to do on that as well. So I wanted to bring this to you as a complete package rather than just sort of showing you, hey, look at this now. I wanted to give you the full dramatic effect. We've also now got wheels for the car, several sets of wheels, and they are going to get their own discussion as well, because there's some really cool stuff about the wheels that we're going to talk about. But anyway, onto the engine. So yeah, this is it, guys. This is what we've got. We've got the fuel rails in. I've got Bosch 1600s and 1000s in there. I've got the Adaptronic ECU. Everything is AN fitting or push fit. Just the most phenomenal install. We've got the Innovate wideband in there as well. That's actually connected. I actually used the RE steering wheel cover and then actually put the Innovate into that. Again, another really clean look. There's going to be a 0 gauge install in this, because through the Adaptronic ECU, I'm actually going to be running a touchscreen for the stereo that's going to be linked to the ECU, which can give me real-time data readout and mapping and logging actually on the touchscreen stereo. That is going to be its own video as well. That's hopefully going to happen in the next few weeks, so that's definitely going to be something you're going to want to watch for. Very interesting and stupidly cool, man. Like, this thing had all kinds of gauges in it, Grady gauges, and I've binned all of them. All of them are now gone, and it's going to be all on screen. I can select what I want, when I want, how it's presented, how big it's presented, colors, blah 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 blah. Really cool stuff, and the best part is I can play my music whilst I'm doing all that in the background. So really cool. We have upgraded all the speakers in this as well. We're going to talk about that. But this is it. This is the engine, guys. Really pleased. It's been a hell of a journey. Thousands of hours, just ridiculous amount of hours gone into this. Little things, tweaks, lots of custom little things, little brackets, little things that's been made, stupid adapters and fittings, stuff from Japan, China, absolutely everywhere, the States, Australia, New Zealand. It's just been a very international build because of what's been available when and where. And what works with my system and install. So a very international build, and just the results are amazing. I mean, this literally, you could now eat your dinner off this engine. It's just absolutely stunning. As for performance, we shall see. The whole process of this has been to get this car on the track and to make it fast and reliable. So I'm dialing all this stuff down. I'm only going to run about 14-15 pounds of boost. The goal of this entire build was to build a reliable build, not a dyno queen. So everything I did, including the turbo, the way that I got the turbo set up, is all about reliability. Anyway, so as always, guys, I say it every single time. Please feel free to post your questions, comments. I try and answer absolutely every single one of them. Instagram, big thing, daily pictures of all the stuff that we do in here. We have lots and lots going on, so all kinds of wraps and things like that, that all goes on there as well. So keep updated on there. Scotia Tint is the username, so check that out, guys. And as always, keep posted. We've got more coming, lots more videos. This engine may be complete for physical stuff, but we are nowhere near complete on the whole build, and there is lots and lots of videos coming to you very soon. So take care, folks. Thank you very much. Bye now.